Michael Saylor just bought more Bitcoin and is adding more cash to his reserve. This is exactly the scenario that we talked about here in the last video, and this is not the good scenario. You're going to watch this video until the end, and you're going to find out that this whole strategy is a big setup to make the market bullish, but it is a massive trap. I will tell you guys exactly what is going on here. And again, I exactly predicted this over here in the last video. I told you guys exactly that he is going to sell some of his stock to be able to buy more Bitcoin and add more cash to its reserve, and that way he wants to show the market like, guys, I still very much believe in the Bitcoin price, guys. Really, just buy more. We're gonna buy more. Like it's gonna be. No, don't trust it. It's all a big major trap. Now, Michael Saylor, look at the current dividends. Is 1.7 billion of annual dividends every single year. He has to pay this amount, but he only has $1 billion here in reserve. So far, he is short $700 million. Now, the only way that he can fund this dividend is that he gets the Bitcoin price to move back to the upside, and people are going to rush in and buy more of his dividends, of his dividend option, or buy more Bitcoin. That's the only really way that he can just pay for these dividends. It just continues to roll over and roll over. And if Bitcoin is just in this slump right over here, and it's just has this massive correction to the downside, it's going to be really, really hard to pay for these annual dividends. Now, to be honest, guys, I don't personally believe that Michael Saylor or MicroStrategy or whatever you want to call it is going to go bankrupt. He still has real assets. He has a software business. He has Bitcoin. There's different ways that, you know, he can, for example, sell stock. So this whole idea that if he's going to be short on cash, Michael Saylor and strategy is going to be bankrupt is of course nonsensical. But the whole point is that he's diluting the share value to pay for these dividends, and his MNAV is slowly going to go down. And the whole point of buying MicroStrategy is to be able to accumulate more Bitcoin through debt. He takes on debt, he takes on risk, and through that risk, your Bitcoin per share is going to increase. So it's kind of a way to hedge. It's kind of a way to kind of be able to gain more Bitcoin, to be able to make more gains during, for example, a bull market, and you do that through these leveraging instruments. So with him having to right now sell Bitcoin, as you guys can see right over here in this tweet, he sold about $180 million worth of shares. That means the shares are being diluted to buy more Bitcoin, which means the MNAV, the total amount of Bitcoin per share, is gonna go down. Because what he's doing is he's creating more shares and he is selling those shares, so he's kind of inflating the share price in total. And because of that, you're seeing that slowly the stock per Bitcoin is slowly being inflated. And that's the whole point, is that if he's going to have to do that, then what's the point of buying MicroStrategy? At that point, if you're just constantly being diluted, you may as well just buy Bitcoin yourself, because then you can self-custody, you hold your own keys, and you don't have to rely on just one person who just takes on too much leverage or a bear market, because you can just continue to hold, and one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin without being worried about your shares per Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it are being inflated. So that's the really big thing here right now going on. Now, again, MicroStrategy is not going to go bankrupt. That is just ridiculous. Even if he has to sell 1.7 billion, again, that Bitcoin can definitely handle that. 1.7 is about $100 million worth of sell pressure each month, which is going to put sell pressure on Bitcoin, but it wouldn't push Bitcoin below like $8,000 or $10,000 or even $30,000 US. Like, yeah, you probably would see it a little bit in the price chart, but that is still 1.7 billion is not enough to really push the Bitcoin price down. He can sell it. He has real assets. Again, he can sell Bitcoin. He can sell his stock. But again, it comes down to, do you really want to hold MicroStrategy or Strategy B or whatever you want to call it, their stock, when you may as well just buy Bitcoin and just don't really have that risk? If he's just taking on way too much leverage and it's just adding constant sell pressure on the stock, and the stock is constantly being inflated, then you may as well just say, okay, I'm just going to sell the stock and then just buy Bitcoin. So yeah, it just adds more risk and more complications, and I'm just not really a big fan of it. But anyway, people were extremely worried about this when he sold his Bitcoin. People thought he was going to go bankrupt. I mean, the illiteracy, the financial illiteracy is just hilarious. Again, he's not. He has real assets. He can sell those. But we saw this massive crash to the downside. Now he's buying. So I probably expect some kind of a bounce here back to the upside. So Salsa Tequila, one of the best traders as well. He won actually many Bybit trading competitions. He's really, really good. He also says bottoms happen when Bitcoin is a scam, dead, and failed. We talked about it here a couple of videos ago where we went on, and we checked the sentiment back in 2022 at the bottom. It was very similar. Everybody thought that the Bitcoin price was Bitcoin was a scam and Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, and it's very similar right now what is happening. So yeah, I kind of agree that this is probably somewhere near the bottom right over here. Maybe not necessarily the cycle bottom, like we can still go a little bit lower, but I doubt we're just going to crash much further. I think this is probably going to be some kind of a range forming over here. So again, the tweets here from, for example, this guy saying that's the best he can do. Yeah, he's cooked, the delusion is destructive. Yeah, that's again what I'm saying is that he is going to actively destroy the entire purpose of strategy B is if he's going to have to extremely dilute his share value in a bear market because he has taken on too much leverage and just bought Bitcoin way more at the top. Like, it still doesn't mean that, again, his company is going to go bankrupt, but it's going to severely underperform. If he's buying every single Bitcoin all-time high top, every bull run top, he's going all in at the top, and then he's going to actively have to sell some of those Bitcoin in order to fund some of the dividends that he's giving out with, again, the money that he bought at the top. It's just like, at that point, you may as well just buy Bitcoin at the bottom. There's really no reason to buy his stock when you're actively being diluted and you're actively losing out on Bitcoin that you could just buy by buying Bitcoin in the real spot market. So yeah, again, that's just what's really going on with his stock, and overall it is not that good for his stock, but for Bitcoin itself, I mean, it's just really not gonna matter. Like, even in the worst case scenario, if he cannot get any cash anymore, he can still sell some of his Bitcoin, and 100 million a month sell pressure is really not going to do a whole lot. Just in the same way, I mean, he bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Did we really see a whole lot in this price action? Probably not. And a whole lot would probably not have changed. 100 million is not enough. So yeah, it's all fine, it's all good, but for the shareholders of his company, not that much. But that's the update here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys here in my next video. Bye bye.